Do you ever feel lost and confused? I know what it feels like. I have to say, I've had a very interesting and relatively long life now. And when I was really young, only about 3 years old, I had a crazy experience where I looked at my hands and I thought, I'm trapped in a body. And I told my mother, I want to go back. And of course, my mother couldn't send me back. She might have wanted to, I have to say, having a crazy little 3-year-old who wanted to go home, but she couldn't. And so, we struggled along. It was all good. I was very blessed to have wonderful parents. But when I was about 13 years old, one of my best friends was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And she went in for surgery and she was in a coma. And my other very best friend called me up and said, Marcia's in a coma. And I thought, oh my God, I have to do something. I have to heal her. Like I have to save her. I'm 13 years old, right? What do I know? I spent all night trying to pray. Now, I was not raised religiously, so I didn't even have any idea how to pray, what that even meant. So I felt like a failure. I felt like I totally failed my best friend because the next day she died. And what that did is it triggered my memory of being trapped in a body, my memory of actually not being embodied, being an etheric soul, living in an energetic etheric plane, being able to communicate telepathically, energetically, not having to use all these words. So I started to study. Now, I was very blessed because my parents had recently moved to California. It was 1969, and I was in San Francisco, or just north of San Francisco. There was lots of spiritual information coming out. The Maharishi was bringing transcendental meditation to the US. The Beatles were studying with the Maharishi. Baba Ram Dass had just written a book called Be Here Now, which my father was reading, and so I got to pick that up. So here I am, 14, living in California, studying spirituality because I knew, kind of unconsciously, knew I had another purpose, a bigger purpose. So I literally studied through high school. I went on to study philosophy in college. And then another tragedy. My other very, very best friend, my soul sister, the girl I had spent every day with since I was 5, was killed in a car accident. And I felt so abandoned. I felt like all of my tethers were cut, like I had no idea what I was doing, why I was here. What was the purpose of life? Really? When your 2 best friends are dead and you're 18 years old? I thought, really? I was angry. I was livid. I was so mad at God. I basically told him to fuck off. I'm like, I don't care what I came to do. I'm not doing it. I just had my hands on my hips and I was livid. And I literally remember taking all that information, all that wisdom that I had been studying for the last 10 years, like sticking it in an etheric shoebox and shoving it up on a shelf, the very top of my closet. Like, forget it. I'm not doing that. Whatever it was, I don't give a damn. I'm over it. And I literally thought, I was a very weird child, let me just say. I literally thought, what do regular people come to do? What's the plan here on earth? I'm 19 years old. I've been studying spirituality since I was 13, 14. And so I thought, well, let's see. People come here to make money. have fun, travel, whatever all that means. And so I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Not whatever that spiritual thing was I was supposed to do. Obviously, I failed at prayer. My first dear friend died, and I couldn't save Shubi. And here I am. I'm going on. And I literally finished my college degree. I got a good job at an ad agency. I was, living in downtown Chicago. It was the 80s. It was a crazy, fun time. I traveled around the world. I spent a couple months in Europe. And I went on to have this very good career in advertising until I got really sick. And this is one of the interesting things that happens with people. When we're lost, when we're confused, when we have no idea why we're here or what we came to do, that bigger kind of soul purpose concept, it's not so unusual to get sick, to have some sort of accident, whether you break a toe or a leg or have a car accident, or like myself, end up with really bad chronic fatigue. Our soul is trying to say, hey, wake up. There's something else here you're missing. And so that was my experience. I got really sick. I really couldn't do that kind of intense, stressful, high-powered work anymore. And the doctors had no answers for me. They didn't have any idea what chronic fatigue was back in the 80s. I even had a doctor tell me that they didn't believe in candida. I thought, what? This is a thing you can test for and find. How can you not believe in it? That's crazy. So I went to an acupuncturist. I started looking for alternative, medicine doctors. And I found an acupuncturist, and I worked with her for about a year. And she said to me, I can help you heal your body, but I cannot heal your soul. There is something so much deeper here. I don't know what it is. And she suggested I go see her friend, who is an amazing clairvoyant. And her clairvoyant did a reading for me. And she said, you're a healer. And of course I said, no, I'm in advertising, right? So I realized, though, in that moment that you're a healer, hit me like a ton of bricks. Of course, I've known this since I was 3 years old. I realized it when my dear friend Marcia died and I couldn't save her. I felt that I should be able to, because I knew there was so much more to me than just the 13-year-old who was praying all night long. So I was lucky to be living. I don't really believe in luck, but I use those words occasionally. I was blessed to be living in California, where there were psychic classes, where there were acupuncturists, where there were other people like me. And I started to study. I went back and I studied for years and years energy healing. I knew that that was part of my soul path. And so even at that point, I had 3 little kids, and my mom would come one weekend a month, and I'd do a weekend workshop. For almost 6 years, I studied until I could heal people, until I really could step into a greater truth of who I am as an ancient soul. And so I really find that when we can align to our soul's truth, to our soul's plan, we can move out of that feeling of being lost and confused. Because often when we're lost and confused, it's because we got waylaid off onto some other story, some other road that really wasn't in our plans, in our soul's plan. So the interesting thing is that before you embodied this time, and each and every time that you come to earth, your soul makes a whole plan. There are gifts and talents you want to share with humanity. There are people you want to be with, to support, to teach, to learn and grow from. So we are very ancient and complex souls. And I would love to share more about your soul's plan. Until next time, bye for now.